stuff that sounds very chill,
Oh,
very
wait.
mellow. Ethereal. You're not trying to.
Beauty is not genetics. And I know you might believe that since there are so many people who say that online, that genetics is everything, that the only thing is that influences how you will look in the future. And that's just wrong. And honestly, there's no point in believing that, since it doesn't help you become better looking. And just trying to like say, oh, that person is better looking than me because of his genetics and stuff. That doesn't help us. So we are in the mindset that of course we can improve and stuff, and we can become better looking. And for me, my journey started when I was like 13 years old, when I first got into training and becoming better looking and talking to people more and stuff. I was a little bit of a weird guy, honestly. So now my weirdness is good because I know about this stuff. I don't know, maybe it's good, maybe it's not good, but I lived the best life so far in my whole entire experience of life, and I'm 16 years old, and I am trying to do everything that I can do to become the best version of myself, especially through puberty, since there are a lot of changes happening in my whole body and stuff. And I want to share what I'm doing so you can do the same too, since I think that knowledge is important if you want to become better looking. There are a few different parts to what makes you you, right? So of course your personality and your genetics, but also everything else that you live in, especially your environment, the habits you have. With that, you probably heard about the concept of mewing. Mewing is basically just having the right tongue posture, which means having the tongue at the upper palate, like right there, pressing up, basically just sitting there. That is how the humans developed, how it should be. Like the tongue should fit there. And if you right now feel, oh, the tongue doesn't fit there, then you know that something that that is an area you should improve in if you want to become better looking, or more like, we don't have to focus on becoming like better looking, but just more healthy. Because when you widen that upper part so your tongue can actually fit there, you also breathe better. You become better in like breathing through your nose, through your mouth, becoming better at doing sports or something, just because of your ability to breathe better. You're more relaxed in general. It's basically just what a lot of people also say is beauty is health. So that's the next thing, is maximizing testosterone. For that, I'll probably make a separate video, but there are a few things that I think are important. I wrote down meditation because it's like when you're relaxed, your cortisol levels are down. That means you're not that stressed, and when you're not as stressed, or basically when you're stressed, your testosterone gets lowered. So I don't want to be stressed, so I meditate. Then estrogenics in the environment. These are things that are acting in your body like hormones, specifically the estrogen hormone, which is the female hormone, which makes, like, when in babies the hormone of estrogen is high, then they develop as girls, and when testosterone is high, they develop as guys. So but there's things in the environment that act like they are actually like estrogen in your body, because your body thinks, oh, that's estrogen and that's not good for us, since we want to maximize testosterone for our development as a guy, of course. But of course, it also has negatives on women, so like all humans should avoid this. Things like the deodorant, perfume, skincare, sunscreen, polyester clothing, plastic in general, soy stuff, seed oil, Teflon pans. You probably heard about it. You probably should research stuff like that, like what are the negative things in sunscreen, because there's things like phthalates and stuff, and all this weird shit you heard on the internet, on like some reel who told you, oh no, that shit is bad for you, don't do that, and stuff. So yeah. Then for food, I would say it depends on your body, but for me, most important is eggs, since eggs have like all these micronutrients a lot. like I don't know if it's every micronutrient, but a lot that are important for testosterone production, and also cholesterol, which is dietary cholesterol, which is the precursor of hormones, which basically means if you have enough of cholesterol, you will produce the maximum amount. If you don't have enough, you're not able to produce as much. So other foods are like beef, I eat whey powder, like milk stuff, whey protein powder, onions, carrots. I'm sorry I didn't add everything that I eat to this list, but what could I say? Yeah, these things. I also try to avoid at the time like other vegetables which might have high levels of anti-nutrients, which basically make it less optimal to absorb vitamins or minerals in those foods. And yeah, I'm just experimenting a bit. So at the moment I'm more focused on eating fat and beef and eggs and stuff, but I also eat carbohydrates, but the only carbohydrate I eat is sourdough bread, since the anti-nutrients in there are already lowered since the bread or the dough is fermented. Fermentation is a good process to make like these toxic foods that, yeah, basically they're not toxic, but they are not optimal for digestion. Basically fermentation makes this process that the foods are getting better digested, like, yeah. Then if you want to find the best versions of foods, like when, for example, you're looking at a deodorant or perfume or something, I know this isn't food, but that's also in this app. It's called Yuka. Yeah, it's called How the fuck do you spell this? Wait. Like Yuka. You see this? Yeah, like this. It's an app where you can scan the product codes and then tells you out of a scale of 1 to 100 how good this product is, and you can see which problematic stuff is in there. You can click on that ingredient and see how bad that actually is. So yeah. Then for supplements, I personally supplement with 11,000 I use of vitamin D3, 300 of the unit of vitamin K2, 2,000 milligrams of omega-3, with 1,000 being like this smaller compounds, DH. Like I have 1,500 of actual, like, these micronutrients that are in omega-3. Then other things that are not as important, bro, I just wrote some stuff down, is sprinting. Sprinting can increase testosterone, you probably heard it. I'm doing it pretty consistently, like once or twice a week in my regular training program. Then you heard about mewing. Mewing is very important. I think I already did a tangent on that, so that's enough. Then we go to chewing and swallowing habits. These are things like that you probably didn't really think about, because most people think most people don't even believe it's possible to change how you develop or how your face develops. So chewing and swallowing, there are a lot of people who didn't develop properly, like their tongue posture and face didn't develop properly, and they chew wrong. That means basically that they're chewing using not the main muscles that are for chewing, which are the masseter muscle, these are here, but they are doing like, I don't even know, they are doing like random shit with their mouth. Like they're not just normal chewing, like up and down, they're like moving their mouth around. They often have like a fold right here. Yeah, I was that type of guy as well, so I don't know, can you see still? I think the lighting is pretty good at the moment. Yeah, smile lines, right? So then swallowing habits as well. This is pretty interesting since swallowing is one of the main parts that would have developed your face if you were pretty young. Like, I assume you're not under 10 years old or something. So before that, that would be very good if you had done that, since the pressure of your tongue every time you swallow, like a lot of people swallow wrong. The right swallow is that you press against the roof of your mouth with your tongue when you try to swallow something, and the tongue basically moves like in a backward wavy motion. Yeah. A lot of people swallow like sucking their cheeks in, which would be wrong, because this basically makes your facial muscles don't work in the way they were supposed to. So they like don't work the way they supposed to and don't look the way they supposed to. But you can train that and basically can try to reverse the effects, and the effects will compound over time again. But yeah, good. I think, yeah. There are a few different other things like stretching and stuff that might be a little bit harder to explain right now, so I'm not going into that. I will mention something that a lot of people, that's especially going viral on Instagram and TikTok, was going viral on Instagram and TikTok, and I did it as well. It was thumb pulling and yeah, premaxilla pushing, stuff like that, zygo pushing and shit. And I have to say, thumb pulling does work, especially for expanding the palate. Basically, when you have a narrow palate, which means that your tongue doesn't properly fit on your palate, on your upper palate. Basically, when you have these teeth marks, I think I have them as well. Sorry, bro. I didn't want to shock you. Yeah, I have them a little bit at the side of the tongue. There are these ridges of your teeth. When you have that, basically it means your palate is too small, and it would be more optimal for you if you had a bigger palate. That's also the reason why I'm still thumb pulling and doing this stuff. But I also have to say, thumb pulling isn't as effective as people make it out to be. We literally aim for people who do thumb pulling for like 4 millimeters in a year. I know that seems like very little, but people who are severe cases might consider it. And it's also how consistent you are, of course. Maybe you could do more if you're more consistent, and how old you are, since thumb pulling is less effective the older you get. But it's also then for the individual, it might be more effective for that guy but not as effective for you, or the other way around, because maybe your sutures fuse at 50 years old or something and you have a lot of time. But basically, the earlier you start, the better is when you do thumb pulling. But more important than thumb pulling, which are more immediate or like faster results, is training your body. Bro, what the fuck? Training your body, especially neck area, your thyroid. That means the area around here. That's also like Baby Sickly did a lot, like this movement, or like this, or like neck curls, which target this area, are effective for that, since it makes your tongue stronger, which makes the habit of raising the tongue more easily to adopt, and basically it makes your tongue overall stronger, which also reinforces the stimulus of the tongue, so your face gets develops more optimal. I think that is enough for the first video now. I don't really know how to end this, so I'll see you sometime, I guess, because I will continue on making these videos because I think they're important. I don't know if you saw me anywhere. I did Instagram Reels and also documented the process there of Looksmaxxing and stuff, and I did that until I got 8,000 follows, and now I don't really like to continue that, so I'll see you soon on YouTube.